boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the 10 best properties to own in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now some of these properties are going to be really good for making money. Some of these properties are going to be good for saving you some time and being generally quite useful, and others are just good to have, or they do a combination of the two. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with number 10. So to get started with number 10, we have the hangar. Now the hangar is a pretty useful building because it does allow you to store aircraft, obviously. In addition to being able to store aircraft, you can also customize them, and of course the hangar does also have a business aspect to it, although the business that is run through the hangar is completely awful in every single way. Now I had to include the hangar on this list because aircraft are a huge part of Grand Theft Auto Online, whether you like it or not. For example, the Akula, the Hydra, the FH-1 Hunter, the Savage, even the Buzzard are all very useful vehicles to have in online. They can save you a lot of time, they can do some really unique things, and generally they are just good to own. The business that is run through the hangar is of course air freight cargo. You guys can see it's right on the computer right here. I haven't even set up this business because I used to do it on an old character until I realized that it is a complete waste of time. The only real point in doing air freight cargo is to unlock the trade price for some of the planes and helicopters that were added with the DLC that the hangar came with, which was of course Smuggler's Run. As you guys can see, once you have the trade price unlocked for a lot of these aircraft, they are a lot cheaper. However, instead of doing the air freight cargo missions to reduce the price of them, you could just simply go out and make the extra cost in a much quicker amount of time than it's going to take to unlock the trade price. For example, the trade price on the FH-1 Hunter is going to require you to complete 42 air freight steal missions, which is going to take you several hours, whereas getting the $1 million extra is not going to take you nearly as long as completing the 42 air freight steal missions. Now you might be saying, well, 42 air freight steal missions, you get paid for them. Yeah, you get like a tiny bit of money for doing it, but money-wise, it's just not worth it, simply. The last feature that I'm going to talk about with the hangar is of course the location. Of course, in online there are several different locations that you can choose from to pick where your hangar is going to be. There are 3 at the military base and there are 2 in Los Santos. I recommend getting one of the 3 military base hangars because they will gain you entry into the military base. Not only that, they will also allow you to fly directly over the military base rather than having to fly all the way around, which I know doesn't seem like a big deal, but being able to fly straight over the military base rather than go all the way around is quite a time saver. Not only this, but it also will allow you to get into the military base without getting any stars. You can also use this to your advantage. Instead of buying a laser for $6.5 million, you can simply go into the military base without stars and hop in any of the lasers, take off, and you will still not get any stars. So having a military base hangar is definitely the preferred location in my opinion. Yes, the city is a little more convenient because you're out there more often, but being able to go into the military base can be a big help in itself. So that's it for the hangar at number 10. Let's move on to number 9. The next property that we have is the MC Clubhouse. Now the MC Clubhouse got a bit of a buff with the Criminal Enterprises DLC. This business used to be kind of limited as far as making money. However, now there are a few more things that you can do. If you have the custom bike shop in your MC Clubhouse, you will gain access to missions where you can customize the bike and deliver it to a customer, very similar to the auto shop. In addition to this, with the MC Clubhouse, you can also gain access to the MC job board, which is right there, and you can do any of the missions that pop up, along with up to 7 other friends, which is really nice. These missions pay a decent amount, not the best ever, but not the worst either. Of course, also within the MC Clubhouse, you can store 10 bikes, which is really nice. You can also get a sleeping quarters in this place as well, and a gun locker as well, so you can make a custom loadout. Of course, one of the main features of the MC Clubhouse is of course having the ability to register as a motorcycle club. This will allow you and up to 7 other players to be in an MC all together and use the bonuses that are within the MC to your advantage. Overall, the MC Clubhouse property is not exactly the best to own in Grand Theft Auto Online, but it is a pretty useful one, I have to say. So that's it for the MC Clubhouse. Let's move on to the next property. Of course, next up we have the facility. Now the facility is not exactly the most useful property to own in Grand Theft Auto Online, but it does have a couple of unique features which make it worth owning. Of course, one of the main features of the facility is the ability to store certain vehicles inside it that you cannot store anywhere else. For example, the first of these vehicles is of course the Avenger, then we have the Chernobog as well, the RCV, and of course the jetpack, otherwise known as the thruster. Now, the Avenger can be used to upgrade weaponized vehicles like the APC, the Barrage, the Insurgent Pickup Custom, and the Night Shark, as well as many others. The Avenger is also one of the most armored aircraft in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, and it can be used in PvP quite significantly. The Avenger is really expensive though, so I can't necessarily say I recommend picking it up because there is of course the MOC, which does all of the same things that the Avenger does, except it doesn't fly. But it is just as useful in my opinion. Other than that, found within the facility are several other different upgrades that you can personally choose to have or not to have. One of these is of course the security room. This will allow you to send strike teams after players in your session. These are really cheap to send and they are quite effective. They're kind of like the Merryweather mercenaries, except just a little bit better in my opinion. Also within this room, there is ammo and things that you can pick up just on this table. You can also equip this place with gun lockers so that you can make your custom loadouts. And in this room on the left, we of course have the orbital cannon. Now I personally don't have the orbital cannon, but you can buy it and use it to destroy anybody in your session for the low cost of about $800,000, which is pretty insane. So I definitely don't recommend picking up the orbital cannon upgrade. And of course, the most useful feature of the entire facility is of course the ability to launch the Doomsday Heist Act 1, 2, and 3 from this back room within your facility. The Doomsday Heist has been buffed with the Criminal Enterprises DLC to give a 25% increased payout on Act 1, 2, and 3, so you can make a little bit more money with this. Of course, you can do this with one other person as well, so if you and a friend are playing, you can do all of the Doomsday Heists, which is pretty fun. From what I hear as well, the Doomsday Heist does have a pretty good replay glitch. I don't personally know about it at all, and I don't really condone glitching, but if you guys are into it, you're into it, and the Doomsday Heist does have some pretty good replay glitches from what I hear. So that's pretty much it for the facility, guys. This is a great property to own. It is a really expensive one to own, but I would say it is kind of worth it. I personally have the Land Act Reservoir facility. However, I have heard that the best facilities to own are the Route 68 facility as well as the Grand Sonora Desert facility. These ones are more central on the map. The ones that I would absolutely avoid are the Paleto Bay facility and of course the Mount Gordo facility. These are so far out of the way that doing any sort of Doomsday Heist missions are going to be a complete pain in the ass. So if you're going to buy one, definitely go for the Route 68 or the Grand Sonora Desert facility. Even the Land Act Reservoir is kind of a pain in the ass because it is on top of a mountain, so I don't really recommend this one either. So there you have it. That is it for the facility, guys. Let's move on to number 7. At number 7, we have the Auto Shop. Now, the auto shop is useful for quite a few different reasons. Once you own an auto shop, there are 3 different ways of making money with it. The first is doing the customer vehicles and the deliveries. So you can simply come up to the customer vehicle, you will modify it to their specifications, and then deliver it using yourself or one of your 2 purchasable staff members. This is a pretty good way to make a little bit of money, especially if you're newer to the game. Of course, heading upstairs in the auto shop as well will reveal a few different ways to make money as well. Another way to make money is by doing the auto shop contract missions. As you guys can see, these pay out a decent amount. Keep in mind you will have to give a cut of this money to Sasanta and KDJ, which are 2 of the most annoying characters in all of Grand Theft Auto Online, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But these missions take about 20 minutes to do. Usually there's 1 or 2 setup missions and then the finale. And they do pay a decent amount, like I said. And then the last way to make money with the auto shop is of course with the exotic exports list. Random vehicles will spawn in on the map. You can simply take these down to the docks and get $20,000 upon each delivery. And there's 10 of these, which means you can make $200,000 every single in-game day in Grand Theft Auto Online. Although in my experience, these things do not spawn that frequently, so you will never actually make that much money. Of course, within your auto shop as well, you can store up to 10 vehicles within the garage portion of it. And a super useful feature within the auto shop, if you have the custom workstation, you can also customize your own vehicles at a reduced price, and you will also have everything unlocked even if you are under level 100. So say you're like level 80, you will not have the turbo upgrade yet, and I don't think you'll have the full engine upgrade. But if you have an auto shop, you can modify your cars inside of here. And of course, if you modify cars within the auto shop, you will have every single thing unlocked, which is really nice. For example, I don't even have these brushed gold, pure gold, brushed aluminum, all of these. I don't even have these unlocked on my character, but because I'm inside the auto shop, I can actually put them on a car if I choose to. So the auto shop is a really nice business to have, especially if you're a newer player in Grand Theft Auto Online. There are of course several different locations for auto shops all around Los Santos. The one that I've chosen seems to be my favorite, the Mission Row auto shop. I think it's really good. But of course, location doesn't really matter with this business all too much. So guys, that is pretty much it for the auto shop in Grand Theft Auto Online. This property is an absolutely awesome one to own. I would definitely say that I recommend it. Now it's time to move on to number 6. And of course, next up we have the CEO office. Within your CEO office, you can have a custom personal living quarters, which is very nice, which allows you to spawn in at this location. In addition to this, your CEO office is also upgradable with up to a 60 car garage, which is really, really nice. You can store 60 cars in one location, which is absolutely insane. In addition to this, you will also get access to being a CEO rather than just a regular VIP once you own the CEO office. And of course, being a CEO and owning the office will also allow you to open up 2 other businesses. From the CEO office computer, as you guys can see, you can start sourcing special cargo as well as vehicle cargo once you own the warehouses that go with both of these businesses. So for special cargo, it is important to own some warehouses. The best warehouses to own are the large crate warehouses. Now there is a difference that a lot of people don't know about between the small warehouses like this one and the large warehouses like this one, as well as the medium warehouses like this one. Each one of the different warehouses will assign a different innate value to each crate that you have within it. So for example, in a small crate warehouse, crates are only worth about $15,000 on average once the business is full. However, with a large crate warehouse, the crates are worth $20,000 a piece, so this is a pretty significant increase, and with medium warehouses, they are worth $17,500 a piece once you have the warehouse maxed out. So obviously filling up a small warehouse, you're not going to have as many crates because it maxes out at only 16, whereas with a large warehouse, it maxes out at 111. But you can do the math on this quite easily. If you had 111 crates at 15 grand versus 111 crates at 20 grand with the large warehouse, you're going to make a lot more money when your warehouse is completely full. So CEO cargo is a great business to run, and there has been a major change to it that happened with the Criminal Enterprises DLC, and we're going to talk about that very soon. However, we also have to touch on vehicle cargo. Vehicle cargo, in my opinion, is really not that great anymore in Grand Theft Auto Online. A lot of people still like this. I personally think it's one of the worst ways of making money in this game, but to each their own. Of course, you can buy vehicle cargo warehouses. These are really, really expensive, and the money that you're going to make from them is going to take you quite a long time. So I would personally advise against it if you're thinking about getting into this business. The initial setup cost is quite significant, and the profit you're going to make is going to take quite a while to get. So if you're going to go with one of the two, I would go with special cargo, absolutely. Of course, before we leave the building, I wanted to show you guys just how big these garages are that are within the building. You have 3 of them, and each of them can hold 20 cars, which is pretty damn good. With the Criminal Enterprises DLC, Rockstar has added a passive way to source cargo into your warehouses. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. You're simply going to go to one of your cargo warehouses, and within your cargo warehouse, you will find an NPC. Here she is right here. This is Lupe, or one of Lupe's workers. You simply walk up to this person and you will interact with them. You can spend $7,500 and they will source for you either 1, 2, or 3 crates of special cargo, and sometimes they will even source you a rare special cargo, which is worth much more money than a regular special cargo crate. So we're going to go ahead and source this, and after 48 minutes the crate will magically appear within your cargo warehouse. So both the CEO office and the CEO cargo warehouse are great properties to own in Grand Theft Auto Online in 2022, and I definitely recommend looking into this if you haven't already. So that's it for number 6. Let's move on to the next property. Next properties that we're going to be talking about are of course the MC businesses. These are going to be some good ways to make money even as a solo player now that we can do these missions in the invite-only sessions, which was of course added with the Criminal Enterprises DLC. The best MC business to own by far is the Coke Lockup. This will pay you $525,000 for a full sale mission, although with a full sale mission you will need 2 other players to help you deliver, so keep that in mind. As you guys can see, with my Coke Lockup, I have made just under $60 million off of 129 sales. This business is also full right now, and I really do need to sell it. However, I just haven't got around to it. The MC businesses consist of the Coke Lockup, the Meth Lab as well, which is the 2nd most profitable MC business, the Counterfeit Cash Factory, which is the 3rd most profitable MC business, the Weed Farm, which is the 4th most profitable business, and of course the Document Forgery Office, which just isn't profitable actually, so don't even buy this one. I completely advise against it. There is one thing that I want to mention about the MC businesses, as a person who does own some in the city and some in Blaine County. You can purchase the MC businesses in the city for a much more expensive cost, or you can get them in Blaine County for the absolute cheapest cost. My advice is to go for the Blaine County MC businesses. On my expanded and enhanced character, I bought all of my MC businesses within the main city of Los Santos, and there's absolutely no advantage to it. In fact, there's actually a disadvantage to it. One, when you do your sale missions, you are closer to the vast majority of people that are playing the game. Secondly, your MC business sale missions can start all the way up in this sandy shores area right around the lake. For example, if you get the float plane mission, they're going to spawn in right here a lot of the time, which is a complete pain in the ass, as well as your boats will spawn in around here. So my advice is to buy all of your MC businesses within Blaine County. That is the only way to go. Do not get them in Paleto Bay, do not get them in the city, simply get the sandy shores ones. They are the best locations. You'll know if they're in sandy shores because they will be the cheapest options for all of the MC businesses. And to buy your MC businesses, just in case you were wondering, you have to do that through the MC Clubhouse. So that's it for number 5. Let's move on to the 4th best property to own. The 4th best property to own in Grand Theft Auto Online is the arcade. Now I'm sure this is going to confuse a lot of people, but those of you who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. The arcade is kind of a good business because it does have a completely passive element to it, although it's not very profitable. Your arcade, once you have full arcade machines decked out in your whole arcade, will make you $5,000 every in-game day, and it will all spawn in within this safe. My safe is actually maxed out right now, so I'm emptying it, as you guys can see, and I've just been paid $100,000. A common misconception with the arcade is you do not actually have to buy all of these different arcade machines like you can see I've bought in mine, because I thought that you had to do it. But as it turns out, with your arcade, you can simply put the default machine that spawns in with the arcade just everywhere in the arcade, and you will make $5,000 every in-game day or every 48 minutes, which might not sound like a lot, but if you don't bother checking on this for a while, every few days you'll have about $100,000 sitting in your safe, which is pretty nice. However, this is not the main reason that you own the arcade. The main reason is in the basement. So you can access the basement by putting a coin into this game right here, and this door will open up. Within the basement of the arcade, you have a 10-car garage, which is pretty nice. It allows you to store some more vehicles, but the main reason that you own the arcade is, of course, right over here. This is the area where you can launch the Diamond Casino heist from. Now, the Diamond Casino heist is the 2nd best heist in Grand Theft Auto Online, or the 3rd best heist, depending on how you look at it. You can do this heist with a maximum of 4 players, but you can do it with a minimum of yourself and 1 other player as well. The Diamond Casino heist is pretty good. I've done it a few times, but it's not my favorite thing. I don't really love heists. But of course, you do need to own the arcade if you are planning on doing this heist at all. However, there is one other thing within the arcade basement that is a little bit better than the Diamond Casino heist in my opinion, and it is of course right here. What you're looking at is the Master Control Terminal. This is going to cost you around $1.4 million on top of purchasing your arcade initially, but it is truly one of the best things I've ever bought in the entire game. And a fun fact, this is what I made my first video on YouTube about. So we're going to go ahead and access the Master Control Terminal. Now within the Master Control Terminal, you can manage every single one of your businesses from one location. So for example, if you want to buy supplies for, say, your meth lab, you can simply click here. You will log into the Open Road website from your arcade, and you can launch a resupply mission from here, or you can just buy supplies. So I'm going to go ahead and buy supplies for my meth lab so that once I do my sale mission, the supplies will be ready to go. You can also manage your nightclub basement warehouse from here as well. So if your technicians are assigned to the wrong thing, you can do that from here. You can also launch your sale missions and do upgrades from here as well, which is really, really nice. You can also resupply your bunker from here, your coke lockup, your weed farm, your meth lab, your counterfeit cash factory. You can also launch air freight cargo source missions, vehicle cargo source missions, or special cargo source missions as well. The Master Control Terminal for $1.4 million can save you an absolute ton of time. Think about it, instead of driving to every single one of your MC businesses and your bunker to buy supplies for them, you can simply drive to the arcade, buy supplies for all of your businesses, and never have to go to them until you actually have to sell. This is a huge time saver, and it is absolutely worth the money. It's one of the best purchases I've ever made in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. As far as location goes for the arcade, there are several different locations. In my opinion, it really doesn't matter where you go. I've always gone for the Vinewood arcade because I think it's the best location, but all of the locations are good in their own ways. The arcade is a fantastic business and is definitely one that I would recommend picking up, hence it being the 4th best property to own in Grand Theft Auto Online. So with that being said, let's move on to number 3. The next best property to own in Grand Theft Auto Online is of course the bunker. This is really useful for several different reasons. As part of the Criminal Enterprises DLC, there is an extra way to earn money with the bunker, and it does revolve around this dune loader. To launch the dune loader mission, you simply come up to this thing and you deliver the excess weapon parts to a randomly selected ammunition. Upon completion, this will pay you $50,000, and it usually takes around 5 minutes, which is really good. In addition to this, with the bunker, you can also have the MOC in here, which is one of the most useful vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online, as well as being the most armored vehicle in all of Grand Theft Auto Online as well. The MOC basically does everything that the Avenger does, it's just the land variant of the Avenger. The MOC is a great vehicle to own, and it's definitely one that I would recommend. Within the computer, you can find all of the things that you're going to need to make money with this business. Of course, you have your resupply where you can steal or buy supplies. Always buy supplies, that is my recommendation. There's also the research tab where you can unlock rare things for some of your vehicles, for example, the proximity mine dropper, as well as different armor options for the Insurgent Pickup Custom and other vehicles. You can also unlock better weapons for the Insurgent Pickup Custom, the weaponized Tampa, the half-track, and several other vehicles on top of that. The bunker is one of the best businesses to make money with in all of Grand Theft Auto Online as well, which is very nice. Within here, you can also assign your staff to different things, so if you want to make money the fastest way, you need to assign your staff to manufacturing. If you want to research things as fast as possible, you need to assign all of your staff to research. And if you want to get a bit of both done, you can of course assign your staff to do both. There's also the 3 upgrades that make the bunker run smoother and faster, which are definitely worth having. In addition to this, you can also have a personal quarters at your bunker, which will allow you to spawn here. And in the back of the bunker, you also have your target range or your shooting range. You can level up your shooting back here really quickly, or get some aim practice in. As far as bunker locations go, there's really only 2 that you should even consider buying. These are of course the Chumash bunker and the Farmhouse bunker. The Farmhouse bunker is the most expensive bunker you can get in the entire game. The Chumash bunker is one of the cheaper ones you can get, and it's in the second best location next to the Farmhouse bunker. Some people even think that Chumash is better, and I wouldn't even argue with that. Chumash goes for $1.65 million, and it is right on the highway, so if your sale mission is to the city, you can simply go right down the highway. If your sale mission is in the hills, you can simply go up this road and be in the hills as well. So this is a really good location. The Farmhouse bunker is also just as good, I would say, but it is more expensive. The bunker is one of my favorite businesses in Grand Theft Auto Online, and it truly is one of the best ways to earn some money. And with that being said, let's move on to the next best property to own in Grand Theft Auto Online. The next best business to own is of course the agency. The agency was of course added within the contract DLC in Grand Theft Auto Online, and it has quickly become one of the best businesses in the entire game. Firstly, the agency grants you access to doing the contract, which is the second best heist in the entire game right after Cayo Perico. At the end of it, you will be paid $1 million upon completion, and it takes about an hour and a half to do. However, there are a few more ways to earn money with the agency. The first of these being with the contracts that you can do from your office computer. As you guys can see, the security contracts tab right here will allow you to launch several different missions. As you guys can see, I've completed 10 of these contracts, and I've been paid just over $700,000 for doing those. As you guys might also see, there is a counter for how many contracts you've completed. This number completely correlates to how much money you will earn passively into the office safe every single day. So if you've done 11 contracts, you will earn $1,000 every single in-game day in Grand Theft Auto Online, or every 48 minutes of real time. This maxes out at 201 contracts, or $20,000 every single in-game day in Grand Theft Auto Online. And this money will be deposited into your hidden wall safe right beside your office chair. This safe has a max capacity of $250,000, so once you start earning a lot of money with this, you basically just have to check it every few days, and you'll have a lot of passive income just deposited into that safe. You can also outfit your agency with the custom weapon shop. As you guys can see, you can speak to this requisitions officer, and you can purchase all of these weapons that you could purchase at ammunition, but you can purchase them for a discount from this place, and you can also get special weapons, like the stun gun for example, which is really cool. In addition to this, you can also speak to the agency services guy and get an SUV service to any of these locations on the map. This effectively is teleporting because you can simply select LSIA, go to it, and you will basically spawn in there. So this is a really quick way of getting around the map. In addition to this, your agency also comes with a 20-car garage and a custom workshop. Now found within this workshop is a special upgrade called Imani Tech. Now, there are several vehicles in Grand Theft Auto Online that can be upgraded with Imani Tech, this being one of them. Imani Tech vehicles can also be equipped with armor plating, which will allow them to take more damage than regular cars, and Imani Tech is very useful itself. You can equip your vehicles that are capable of having this with a missile lock-on jammer or a remote control unit. The remote control unit allows you to remotely control your vehicles without you being inside of them, and you can also use the machine guns that are equipable on some of the Imani Tech vehicles. The missile lock-on jammer prevents missiles from even being able to lock onto your vehicle, which is also a super useful feature, needless to say. Some of these vehicles can also be equipped with primary mounted machine guns, as well as secondary proximity oil slick mine droppers, which can spin people out if they're chasing you. All of these features together make the agency one of the best properties to own in all of Grand Theft Auto Online in 2022. I recommend picking up the agency almost more than any other property in Grand Theft Auto Online, but there is one property still that is just slightly better than the agency, and we're going to go ahead and get into that right now. And that final property is, of course, the nightclub. This is the best property to own in Grand Theft Auto Online, hands down. The nightclub has received a lot of bonuses and buffs in the past few months, making it truly the best business or property in the entire game. Now, there are several aspects to the nightclub which make it very, very good to own. With the Criminal Enterprises DLC, there is a random event that spawns in now where you will have to help out a random person within your nightclub or kick somebody out. This will boost your nightclub popularity up significantly and pay you for completing the little mission. Keeping your popularity high in the nightclub nowadays as well is very, very beneficial because it allows your safe to passively gain you $50,000 every single in-game day, so long as your popularity is maxed out. As you guys can see, I'm about to collect $250,000 out of my safe, so if you haven't played for a while, this is quite the change. Keeping your popularity all the way up now is completely worth your time because you can just earn so much money from it. Also, if you didn't know, you can keep your popularity high by rebooking DJs back and forth. If you keep your popularity high enough up to the point where it's going to earn you $45,000 to $50,000 every single in-game day, every time it goes down below that, you can simply rebook one of your DJs. Now, if you've never done this before, you could book a DJ for $100,000 initially, and then every time that you book them after that, it will only cost $10,000, and you can keep switching them back and forth. Every time you do this, your nightclub popularity will go up a little tiny bit, usually 2 little bars or 2 increments. So you can earn $50,000 per 48 minutes with the nightclub now, so long as your popularity is maxed out, or very close to maxed out. In addition to this, the nightclub also has the warehouse, which I'm sure many of you guys are aware of. The warehouse has 5 technicians, which are all purchasable, and each of these guys can passively source a different type of cargo. So you can have one guy that sources cargo and shipments, one guy that sources sporting goods, one guy that sources South American imports, pharmaceutical research, and cash creation. These are the 5 most valuable things to source within your nightclub basement. This is of course completely passive, so passively I've made $956,000 just by waiting around and having all the businesses that are required to actually source these things. So where people get confused with the nightclub basement is in order to source all of these different things, you need to own the business that is associated with them. Cargo and shipments, for example, you can either own the CEO cargo warehouse or the hangar. Either of these will work to source cargo and shipments. For sporting goods, you will need to own the bunker. For South American imports, you will need to own the coke lockup. For pharmaceutical research, you will need to own the meth lab. For cash creation, you will need to own the counterfeit cash factory. For organic produce, you will need to own the weed farm. And for printing and copying, you will need to own the document forgery office. I know that's a lot to take in if you guys are new to this. Those are the businesses you're going to want to own. Of course, the CEO office and CEO cargo warehouse, the bunker, coke lockup, meth lab, and of course the counterfeit cash factory. Once you've bought all 5 technicians, you can source all of these things passively, then you can sell these when you are ready. So as far as a passive business goes in Grand Theft Auto Online, the nightclub is pretty much as passive as it gets. Even getting the $50,000 per in-game day with the safe is very, very passive. You simply have to keep the popularity high enough and you will make that money. Of course, the basement is also completely passive once you own all of the other businesses. Now, this property does take a lot of money into it to make your money back out of it, but it is 100% worth it in the end. In addition to this, you also get 4 layers of garages that you can have in this thing, so that's 40 cars that you can store, as well as 1 garage level where you can store your sale vehicles, which are all customizable as well. So for all of these reasons, the nightclub is the best property to own in Grand Theft Auto Online as far as making money goes. So there you have it, guys. That is it for the 10 best properties to own in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. If you enjoyed this video, or if you learned something, a like is of course appreciated. If not, dislike. Subscribe if you guys are new. Comment down below, let me know what you thought of my list, and if I missed anything, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.